Hey, welcome back. I'm Carrie. I specialize in helping midlife men and women stay strong, balanced, so your body doesn't hold you back from the sports and activities you love. So let's get moving. If there's certain ranges of movements with your shoulders that you struggle with in the day, then you're wondering if it's a mobility issue, if it's a strength issue, and you're not sure exactly how to find out which, then this video is for you. Hi, I'm Carrie Sherman from Core Strength Pilates. To do this video, all you need is something comfortable to lie on, and then you need ideally a head cushion so you know your head is in line with your spine. You also need to be able to lie on your side with your head in line with the spine, in which case for me I use a block and a head cushion or just a bigger head cushion or a book, doesn't matter, right? Let's go. So the first range of movement that we're going to cover is shoulder flexion. So to test your shoulder flexion, you need your head cushion. You can remove that out of the way for now. Come lie down on your back. You can lie down with your knees bent and feet flat on the floor, or you can have your legs straight away. It doesn't matter. What's most important is that your ribs are neutral, right? They're not sticking up, and that your back is comfortable. So you're going to start with your arms up towards the ceiling. Fingers are together and your thumbs are pointed back behind you. Just take a moment there, reach up, and then let the back of the shoulders drop down into the mat. That's how you know your shoulders are in neutral position. Take a breath in. And then as you breathe out, you're going to bring your arms back behind you while you're sending your ribs down. So you want both of the arms to, so you can see my left one is struggling because I have been to the gym and it's not happy. So both of the arms to go down behind you without these ribs flaring up. If your ribs are popping up to get them there, then that's telling you there's an issue. Right, because I'm holding it, you can see my left one is struggling. I know that because I've had a recent shoulder injury. My right one can stay there all day long. So that's going to be a strength issue for me in my left arm. My right arm is fine. Mobility-wise, it's fine because it can get there. It just wants to hop around once it's there. That's how I know it's not a mobility issue, it's a strength issue. Okay? Exercises to continue to increase your shoulder flexion is exactly that, but palms facing forward. It's called rib cage closure. You breathe out to bring your arms back behind you. They're not going to touch the floor. You just want to challenge your shoulder flexion. Breathing in, arms up towards the ceiling. The breath here is only important because if you breathe in while you do that, your rib cage is going to naturally expand and bring you into extension. So that's why we breathe out as the arms go back behind us. Right, and then the other exercise is to just bend your elbows and come into this rotate from the shoulders and come into this like goalpost position. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, send the ribs down, send the arms back behind you. Breathing in, bend the elbows. Breathing out, ribs down, arms back behind you, breathing in. Good. And then coming out of that one. And then the last one to help increase is you're going to let gravity work in the opposite direction. So you're going to come into a 4-point kneeling. Remember, your shoulders need to be back and engaged. Your knees are directly underneath your hips. You're just going to engage the core, so gently connecting, drawing that belly in, and you're going to raise one arm up, hold for a moment, and then lower it down. Engage, shoulder back is engaged, and raise the other arm. Good. And keep doing this, and you will feel one of them is a little bit tighter than the other, or shaking as you do it, as I have for sure this week. Then that is your answer, okay? Mobility is if you can't get there, even with a little assistance. Strength is if you can't hold it and if it's really shaking. Great, ready? Let's move on. Next range of movement is going to be shoulder extension. So shoulder extension is when your arms are by your side, that's in neutral, when you bring them back behind you. So it's a little easier to demonstrate when standing, but what you don't want is to compensate by lifting the ribs, right? So let's have a little test. We're going to come onto our bellies. Again, leave your head cushion there. When you come onto your belly, you always need to tuck those ribs under so you know you're in neutral, just like when you were lying on your back. Head is going to be straight down and nice and comfortable. Bring your arms down by your side, palms facing up. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to lift those arms back behind you. Palms are still going up towards the ceiling, and then lower it down. So the range of movement here, you want to see how far you can go. So if you're only coming up part way, that's going to be a mobility issue, okay? And maybe someone can help you and you get a little more. But if you're coming up and you hold and you feel after a little while like it's really shaking, that's going to be a strength issue. Good. Happy with that? Amazing. So we do in Pilates an exercise called dart. I'm not going to do the full dart because it's a rather complicated exercise, and for this video that's not all that important. You're going to first bring your head, lift your head so you're still looking down but your head is in line with the spine. Roll those shoulders back. You're going to bring your hands right along your side. I like to squeeze my heels because that keeps my midline nice and strong. And then you're going to lift the arms up while the palms are facing inward towards each other. Okay, this is obviously a tricep exercise. Triceps are really important in your shoulder extension. Good. And then from there, the other great exercise for shoulder extension is to come back onto your back. You're going to come into your bridge position. So you may prefer, if you have a head cushion, to remove it. Take a breath in, or it doesn't really matter, but you're going to just come up into a bridge. Make sure those feet are directly underneath the knees. Inner thighs are active. So I'm sending my hips up, my ribs down. Now, bring your arms down into the mat. Have those collarbones nice and wide. And then you're going to push as hard as you can. Try to imprint that mat. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then come on gently down. That you're going to feel, it looks so simple, is so much work, and it's great, okay? And that is our shoulder extension. Next, we're going to talk about ab and adduction. So first of all, it's important to know that abduction is when your arms are down by your side, and you're going to bring them up like this, okay? That's abduction. Adduction is working on the same vertical plane, and it's when you want to bring your shoulder down in front of you, like you're holding like something underneath your arm. That is adduction. That is different than transverse, and we're going to cover that next, but this is ab and adduction. So what's your test? How is the mobility and how is the strength with your ab and adduction? And I'm grouping these two together because they're best friends, really. They want to do everything together. So first we are going to come onto our backs again. Replace that head cushion. Get yourself nice and comfortable. Right, arms are down by your side. Palms are facing towards each other, okay? Take a breath in. As you do that, you're going to bring your arms like you're in a T. As you breathe out, your arms, go ahead and go with the natural rhythm of your scapula, and you're going to let the palms come up so you can bring the arms up above your head without letting these shoulders rise. So we don't want to be here. We don't want to be lifting those ribs. We want the ribs down, and we want the clavicle, this bone here, to stay down, okay? And then we're going to bring it back. And then we're going to squeeze our body. That's going to be our adduction. Ready? Arms out to the side. Breathe out here. Let the palms are now facing each other. And shoulders are down and engaged. And then continue to bring the arms down by your side. So if that was a hard one, if it was really hard to squeeze, I mean, it is hard to squeeze. Adduction needs some strength. If you're having trouble doing that, or you can't bring them any further in, that's a diminished range of movement. If you, when you come up here, you can only bring the arms into kind of a high V, you're missing some of that shoulder abduction, okay? That's your test. It's like floating arms lying on your back if you're used to doing your Pilates. So what can we do about this? So arm circles. Again, let's go back onto our belly. When you're on your belly, gravity, which isn't as insignificant, just puts a little more weight onto the movements. So when you're on your belly, you always need to tuck those ribs under. I like to have my heels flopped in. That will gently tuck my pelvis under to make sure that no work goes into my back. Bring your arms into that T-shaped, okay? You can lift your head into diamond press, or if you're still comfortable, and you can leave your head down. I'm going to lift my head into diamond press because that I know is going to be a little bit better on my neck. And then you're going to lift your arms up from here. And then again, you're going to draw those shoulders down as you bring the arms up like Superman or Superwoman. And then they're going to naturally rotate. So when you bring them into adduction, the palms are going to be facing up towards the ceiling. Just let that natural rhythm of the shoulders go and just circling those arms. Good. Ab and adduction. Are we happy with that? The last exercise, let me show you one more for this, sorry, is lying on your side. That's why I wanted this block here. Because if that last one was uncomfortable, you can come and make sure that your shoulders are stacked and your hips are stacked, knees are bent, so you're nice and comfortable on your side. Okay, so you can squeeze your arm into your side. That's your adduction. And then you're going to then just bring it up above you. Again, this shoulder, the clavicle needs to stay down, not here. We need it down and engaged. And then bring it back, squeeze. Good. Happy? Amazing. So if you can't get into the full range of movement, but if someone helped you or with the other arm you can get there, that's a mobility issue. If when you're holding it there, it really starts to shake in either of those positions, if you hold this for a little while and it's like going like this, that's a strength issue. All right, perfect. Let's go. So I was saying before that ab and adduction works on the vertical plane. Transverse adduction works on the horizontal plane. So it's working with your shoulders just below shoulder height, right? If we come up higher, you start to lift the clavicle. So I always suggest that we work just below shoulder height. Transverse is when they start to come in front of us here. That's transverse adduction. So go ahead, sitting on nice and tall, shoulders are down and engaged. And then you're just going to gently glide the arms across. Like if you bent your elbows, you're going to give yourself a little hug. All right? And then bringing it back. So we want to do it once with the left arm on top and once with the right arm on top. And it is going to feel a little bit different. Good. If that wasn't happening, if one side was much harder or tighter than the other, that is telling you that you have a mobility issue, particularly if you gave it that little nudge and that really helped. You can do one at a time, so you can bring it here, and you can feel like a little more and it could get further, great. Well, you'd probably be here. So if you can get here by pushing, that's a mobility issue. If you were here and you can get a little further, but it really starts to shake, that's a strength issue, okay? What can we do about that? Well, it's just that exercise. It's kind of giving yourself little hugs. And if you want to go a little more extreme, so I'm kind of all the way around, so I'm just getting, my shoulders are down and engaged, and I'm just touching the back of my shoulder blades, and then you can do that. But keep swapping which arm is on top. And then another final little exercise is to make sure the shoulder stays down, bring the arm across your body, you can bend the elbow, and you can just gently lengthen the elbow down and away from you, and just sort of glide it like down and across, okay? So lengthening, and that will help to give you some more shoulder mobility on both sides. Great. All right, our last one is rotation. So come lie down back on your mat, on your backs. Right, so bring your arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing towards your feet. Breathing in, just reach up towards the ceiling. Breathing out, oh, skull to shoulder drop. Drop the shoulders down, so now they're in neutral. You're gonna bend the elbows into that goalpost position. All right, this is the start position for this test. Keep your forearm where it is. Note that my elbow is just below shoulder height, okay? Because when you lift it, you're already gonna start to lift that clavicle. You're gonna keep the forearm where it is, and you're gonna rotate, okay? Rotating up, and then rotating down. So as you rotate down, you don't want these shoulders to lift. So it's just to the point where you feel like I don't have full rotation, I can see. Don't have full range of movement. If I try to guide it a little more, I have a little bit, but that is pretty good. It's not a range of movement that we use very often. I'm pretty happy with that. And then this is how you're going to find, like that's definitely something I probably will work a little more on. Find if it's a mobility issue. Can you get here? Is your arm level with the floor, or is it like this? In which case, see with a little gentle, please gentle, never force anything in your joints. A little gentle, you can get further. That's a mobility issue. Or when you get here, is it really hard to hold it? And that's your strength issue, okay? So that's one of the exercises for that, is to continue to work through that test, nice and slow, keeping everything down and engaged. Relax your body as you do it. And then the other one for rotation is just to do the same thing, but sitting up. So arms are out, and you want to then bend them so your palms are facing down. And then you can come up. You can do this standing up against the wall. So this way it's a little easier because gravity is kind of helping me a little bit. Taking some weight out. Good. And that's it. Amazing. I hope you found this video useful. Please let me know, like, which range of movements were you surprised at? Did you find difficult? Did you know you had a problem in that shoulder? I would love to know anything. If there's any other videos I can do to help you, just drop it in the comments below. Thanks for subscribing if you've enjoyed my videos, and take care. See ya.